The following is a production of White Lightning Entertainment. This is Burning Rubber Radio.
And the 65th Daytona 500 is underway. He won a dual race here a year ago in the team's new debut, and he's going to win stage one as they come to the line. First stage win for Keselowski in the Daytona 500. To the flag to end stage two, 3 wide, the 6th row back, and it's Chastain. By inches. All right, Stenhouse gets the white flag. The net flag ends it. No, the caution is out. Ricky Stenhouse has won the Daytona 500.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Daytona 500 winner. Go! Let me tell you, that's been a long time coming.
Burning Rubber Radio is brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching. It's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. Now from the White Lightning Entertainment Studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here's your host, Andy DeLay.
Hey, Burning Rubber, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. Burning Rubber Radio. I'm Andy DeLay, your host, along beside the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and of course our producer Wayne Owens. And boys, the Daytona 500 is in the books.
Man, it only took forever and a day thanks to that damn Florida weather, though, didn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it did. But hey, everything's in the books. The trucks, ARCA, Xfinity's done. The Daytona 500, of course, has a brand new winner. It'd be William Byron, who got his first Daytona 500 win. Matter of fact, Boys Hendrick Motorsports had a 1-2 day at the Daytona 500.
And not just that, there's another record that goes along with that, and we'll touch more on that coming up here in News of the Week with William Byron's win. But not only was Byron a winner, we've got Xfinity, who ran immediately after Cup on Monday night, simply because of the fact being that they got rained out in the daytime once again. And we've got that. We've got the Bathurst 12 hours. We've got, Andy, we've got so much to kind of stuff in here this week. And John's got us a return guest coming back this week again. John, who you got, brother?
Well, we got Mr. Timothy Watson, young guy that's racing. We hung out with Timothy a couple months ago at the Five Flags down in Pensacola, and we'll probably see him next month at the Rattler 250 at the South Alabama Speedway.
Yeah, word has it is that he is indeed going to be at the Rattler, so we'll have to see what happens. Now, if I remember correctly, what's the whole idea with the Rattler at South Alabama Speedway? The winner gets to play with a rattlesnake?
Yeah, Wayne, they have a rattlesnake rodeo about that same time down in Opp, Alabama. And the handlers bring the rattlesnakes out, and, they let you touch them. They'll put them around your neck if you want, and they do that to the winner, and, it's a little bit exhilarating.
Now, I have to ask, because now obviously safety reasons implied here. Please tell me they pull all those poison sacs out of those snakes, right?
No, probably not. It's kind of cute though, because when a guy put the one around my neck, I'm sure he says it to everybody. He was whispering in my ear, "It's slipping out of my hand,"
Oh man, they can keep that.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure they say that to everybody, but it's still a lot of fun. But they put on a great show down there, and hopefully we're going to get the ladies that put the Rattler together on the show in a couple weeks. But more to come on that.
I tell you what, the more I think about that, it reminds me of actually it does. It reminds me of a story that an old coworker of mine used to tell up in the hollers of West Virginia, where they had a church full of snakes.
Oh my gosh! I've been to one of those snake churches before.
Yeah, exactly.
In Kentucky.
Yep. And just the thought of it just.
Oh, trust me, man. Once they brought out snakes and stuff. Guess whose ass got up out of the pew and left?
I trust me, I wouldn't have just got up out the pew and left. I'd have been burning rubber. But
my Lord.
What a hell of a tie-in, right?
Right, I guess.
But yeah, with that said, though, folks, again, we've got Cup news, Xfinity, trucks, ARCA. We've got Bathurst 12-hour news to talk about this week. we have got a whole plethora of things to talk about this week on the show. But with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that first foreign fuel of the show. And when we come back, we've got that news of the week for you.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on X at twitter.com/BRR_radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. It's producer Wayne along with NASCAR chef John Dix and Andy DeLay. And boys, we got some news of the week to talk about this week. And like we said, you know, Cup Series, Xfinity, ARCA, trucks, you name it, they ran. And actually, we had a lot of technical 1-2s when it comes to Daytona this year for the 66th running of the Daytona 500, the 76th year for NASCAR. That being the fact that we had a doubleheader on Friday night for ARCA and the Truck Series.
Yep.
And then we skipped 2 days, thanks to the rain in Florida. And we have a doubleheader of Cup and Xfinity on Monday. And then on top of that, now this is where it gets even more unique, is the 1-2 finish, Andy, that you brought up from this past from the Daytona 500 on Monday, is the 40th anniversary of a Hendrick Motorsports 1-2 finish at Daytona, and the 40th anniversary of their first Daytona 500.
Wow. Okay. So they got it done 40 years later, 1-2.
Yep.
Yeah, and they 1-2 punched everybody out of the way to win the race.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they did.
It was a good thing.
Pretty much.
I tell you, if you're a Randy LaJoie fan, you enjoyed seeing his 4th place finish in the Daytona 500.
You mean Corey LaJoie?
What?
You mean
Did I say Randy LaJoie?
Yes, you did.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, you
I
did.
guess I'm an old-timer, folks, going back to the 90s here. That's his dad. But anyway, to see Corey finish 4th, that was great stuff.
Yeah, it was.
And to see, personally for me, to see Corey punt Cindric out of the way was great stuff.
It was. It was, man. Corey was stacking pennies pretty good in the Daytona 500. And then, which, by the way, folks, if you're wondering why that become a thing, that is Corey's podcast. We talked about that with him the last time we had him on the show. He has a podcast now called Stacking Pennies. He's had one actually for quite some time, and a pretty good podcast at that. Go check it out. Highly recommend Stacking Pennies. But either way, the other one that I got to talk about with the Daytona 500 is the fact that we saw the aggressiveness come back in Ross Chastain on Monday.
Oh, yes.
And, man,
oh my gosh,
he was not wanting to give that lead up for nothing.
No, I don't blame him. He had a good car.
Yeah, he had a great car. I put on a lot of good blocks on Logano and just everything in general. So much so that right behind him, the guys who finished 1-2 were the ones who started the big pile up towards the end of the race.
True. 8 laps to go, and it was poor Ross, and that's what I like about Ross Chastain. He's going to put the pedal to the floor. He's either going to see the wreckers or he's going to see God. One of the two, man.
He's wreckers or checkers, man.
I love it. I just think that's what we need in the sport. And a lot of folks want to say that Kyle Busch is Dale Earnhardt-ish. Yeah, Kyle's got some aggressive traits. But if you want someone in this sport right now, that's the closest thing we have to Dale Sr., it's Ross Chastain.
It is.
Yeah, I agree. 100%, Andy. Yep.
Hands down. Gotta say that Ross is definitely the odds-on favorite to take that position as the current Dale Sr. Aggressive. I guess you can say copycat. I guess would be the word for it. Or similar tactic, rather, would probably be the better phrase for it.
I ought to call it the Dale Senior Award. You got that for this race.
You know what? Let's fire that up. A Burning Rubber Radio first. We're gonna give out our weekly Dale Senior Award to the most aggressive driver.
There you go.
Another good thing about Corey LaJoie was after the race when they interviewed him coming, down pit road.
Mm-hmm.
He said one thing, it was racing and all that, but he let everyone know that Cindric and he are not friends.
Yep, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I imagine afterwards, back in the hauler area, I imagine they probably had a nice little chat.
I don't know if they've chatted yet.
Probably not. Yeah. But either which way,
they'd have thrown fists, but then
right, exactly.
They didn't want to wind up in a big red truck.
Oh, man. But real quickly here, while we got just a moment left before we head over to our next Ford Fuel and get ready to talk to our guest of the week here, got to talk about the Xfinity Series. Again, a doubleheader a doubleheader in yesteryear on Monday for the folks over in the Cup and the Xfinity Series. But 3 in a row now as a winner at Daytona for Austin Hill in the Xfinity Series, Andy.
Yep.
Austin Hill is a powerhouse in the Xfinity Series as of late. So good for him. Good race, too.
Yep. Very good race for Austin Hill on Monday at Daytona. And so, some good stuff all the way around here, folks. And when we come back with our later News of the Week segment, we're going to catch you up on trucks. We're going to catch you up on a little bit of news on some signings for some races coming up here in 2024. We're also going to talk about Chip Ganassi, who, Andy, it's rumored, he's going to be doing something at Le Mans this year. So we're going to...
Oh, very cool.
We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Bathurst 12 Hours. We've got a whole lot of stuff coming up for you. But with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that next foreign fuel. And when we come back, we're going to sit down with our guest of the week, Timothy Watson.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
that when we help others,
We heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
We can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
Is simple.
help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
Then there's still work to do.
because their future
Is our future.
and there's still so much they can teach us.
Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. It's producer Wayne, along with Andy DeLay, and you probably wondered where the chef ran off to. Andy, I think he wanted to go start cooking a little early.
Yeah, he's over there firing things up on the grill a little early.
Hence why it's black. He's got all that black smoke running from the grill already.
Yeah, that or he's going to smoke us out with something else from the restroom over there. He just said he wanted to get started early.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I mean, you did that last week when you ran off. I thought you were going to hang out with John, while you were cooking the recipe and whatnot, folks. And y'all saw it last week on the show where Andy ran off and then he come back and he was snickering the last half of the show.
Yeah, exactly. I gave you a little post-Christmas present.
Yeah, you little sorry shit. We love it. All right, well, folks, it is that time here where we get in with our special guest of the week, our featured guest, and he's a returning one at that. Here we have got Timothy Watson on the line. Timothy, what is up, my friend?
Oh, nothing much. Glad to be back on the show.
Yeah, we're glad to have you back on here, buddy. So, of course, most recent news here that has been out and about is that you ran the ASA Stars Tour race this past Tuesday over at New Smyrna Speedway, getting that series kicked off for 2024. And so, how for folks that didn't get a chance to watch it on Racing America, how'd you fare?
Well, for what we went through during the race to finish 15th and on the lead lap, I feel like we did pretty good early on in the race. My left front brake duct got knocked off, and it knocked the fan and everything off.
Ouch.
So the whole race we were dealing with brakes overheating, and that track, it's like 2 drag strips with a corner on each end. So you really need brakes. So I was a little bit faster than, well, at the end of the race, I was a little bit faster than the cars in front of me, but with my brakes fading in and out, I didn't really want to get in there and mix it up and have them go flat on me again. But I mean, we went a lap down a couple times and managed to get back on the lead lap every time.
There you go.
But I think we were in the pits every single pit stop, bleeding the brakes and just trying to get them to, have a pedal for as long as we could.
And I imagine with no fan too, being down there around Daytona and the beach area, New Smyrna, I imagine you were probably cooking like a Thanksgiving turkey in there too, weren't you?
Well, it wasn't that bad because it was probably about 60 degrees outside when we ended up racing.
That's even better then.
Yeah, it really wasn't all that hot. But I know my brakes were extremely hot because, well, Dad was bleeding the right front brakes later in the race, and he said when he broke it open, the fluid hit the brake rotor and caught on fire. But he was able to put it out. But yeah, that track you definitely want to have good brake fans.
Yeah, hands down, you do for sure. And come to think of it, Andy, why I haven't seen you complaining about it being 60 degrees. I guess you finally acclimated to it.
Who would?
But with that all said here, though, coming up here in the next few weeks, actually, to get kicked off here, you are going to be running in the Southern Super Series here, super late models and all that other fun stuff here. So, but my understanding is that you want to try and run the full slated schedule for 2024 here, Timothy. So tell us, tell the folks at home a little bit about what you got going on there.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try and run. I forget how many races it is, but we're gonna try and run the entire Southern Super Series tour, which is big for us because being a smaller team and everything, it's hard for us to pick up in the middle of the week and go somewhere. Like last Tuesday, that was pretty hard for us to just pick up. I think we left on Sunday so that we could practice on Monday, and then when we got home, I think about 4:00 on Wednesday morning. The rest of the week was, we were hard pressed to get everything we needed to do done, and but yeah, and I know we're going to run the Rattler coming up here in a couple of weeks, and we may try and run some more of the SRL stuff, just depending on where it's at and what our schedule's looking like. But yeah, we're just going to try and run that entire Southern Super Series tour and see what we can do with it.
Very cool.
Talking about the Rattler, the Burning Rubber Radio is going to be at the Rattler here in a few weeks. Matter of fact, we're a lap sponsor there at the Rattler. So
actually, we're the lap one sponsor.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
So anyway, you'll be the NASCAR chef John Dix will be down there. Surely he's going to come over and say hey to you. But it says here that looks like you're going to be running again at Pensacola. So is that the next race for you?
I believe the Rattler actually is the next race for us, but yeah, we're gonna run. I know we're gonna run the Super at Pensacola, and we were planning on running the Outlaw that Friday night, but one of my good friends' wedding is on that Friday, so I don't know if I'll make it to the Outlaw race.
That's understandable.
Sure.
Yeah, gotta show up at the wedding. Mad friends equal less crew. So
that's right.
Yeah.
So
he was
tell
there
us
to
here.
help us during the Derby when we really needed it. So I should probably show up for when he needs me.
Right.
That's a good idea. Hey, one thing I wanted to follow up with is you're running all these super late series races and stuff. What are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to try to run some truck races in NASCAR, some ARCA stuff? Where is your next step focus at?
Well, that would be really great to be able to run that, but the funding just isn't there yet. And obviously, since I was a little boy, I've always wanted to go to the top 3 series of NASCAR, but it's just finding the sponsorship or that one person who says, you know, I have the money, let's go racing, is very difficult. But for now, we're just going to focus on the super late model stuff and see what we can do with it. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But if it does, then great. I'd love to run some truck stuff or even some ARCA stuff just for the experience, really.
Yeah, the best part is just one day at a time, right? And one race at a time, and as funding becomes available, and you know, for everybody out there listening, you know, hey, if you got a couple of bucks spare and you want to throw it into the Timothy Watson Racing Fund, I'm pretty sure he would love to have your help along the way. And who knows? Now, I know some drivers. Now, not saying Timothy would do it, but I know some drivers that would actually put your name on their car for throwing in a few bucks.
Well, imagine that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder how people put their names on race cars, Wayne.
Yeah, exactly. You got to throw in a few bucks. So, actually, you know what? If I remember right now, I could be wrong. I think Natalie Decker did something very similar to that last year with the 1 in a million sponsor that she had going on for one of the races that she did, where literally, you know, everybody who gave at least $1 got their name on a race car. So, hey, there you go, Timothy. You know, goal to $1 million. It doesn't necessarily have to be that 1 in a million sponsor, but you could just say, hey, you know, for a dollar, if I can get 1 million folks to come on board, or $10 or $20, whatever the case might be, we'll throw your name and heavens knows 2 or 3 people extra on the car as well. And then you never know, you might just have a car with a bunch of signatures racing around New Smyrna, PCB, wherever you might get a hold of.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. You know, I saw a college kid a couple years back did something like that to help pay his tuition. That's actually a pretty good idea. I haven't really thought about doing that with a race car.
Here we go.
Well, there you go. There's your sponsor idea for 2024. If you manage to raise,
make it $5.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you what. We'll just go ahead and make it official right now, folks. If you're listening to Burning Rubber Radio, tell all your friends, tell all your family. If you give $5 to Timothy Watson Racing, you can get your name on a car. And if Timothy gets to a certain goal amount, he's going to have a whole car literally littered with names all over it from all of you guys.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Awesome stuff. Well, the cool part, you know, the sad part is too, is we're about ready to run out of time here for the week on the show. But we definitely wanted to check back in with you, see what all you got going on here. But knowing you're going to be running the Rattler coming up here in a couple of weeks' time out at South Alabama Speedway, and the fact that Burning Rubber Radio is a Lap 1 sponsor of the race, we would be remiss if we didn't get it from you once again. A big old burning rubber, baby, as the green flag flies on the end of this interview.
Burning rubber, baby.
All right.
Yeah, actually, that's the checkered flag.
Well, the checkered flag on this interview, the green flag for the Rattler, whatever.
Okay.
Hopefully we can lead both of them down there.
Hey, there you go.
And all 248 in between. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be. Well, I'll tell you what you should do there, Timothy. I know we got it from you just now, but when you get to the track and you get ready to run the Rattlers and you hop in that car, the minute that green flag flies, burning rubber, baby, you know, just shout it out real quick, and who knows, you might just have yourself a race win, bud.
Yeah, that might be the ticket there.
That is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that said here, we're going to step aside. We are going to take our next Forward Fuel, and when we come back, oh, Lord, Andy, that black smoke's pluming even more. I worry about John.
Yeah. Oh, man, and it smells good, too.
I mean, it does smell good. There's no doubt about it. But with that said, folks, we're going to step aside, and when we come back here, the NASCAR chef, John Dix.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My Grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my Grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your MyPillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
that when we help others,
We heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
We can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
It's simple.
help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy.
And hope. And love.
And if one child is still in need,
Then there's still work to do.
because their future
Is our future.
and there's still so much they can teach us.
The grill is fired up, and the chef has something good cooking.
Oh, you're cooking, Frankie.
It's the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. It's producer Wayne, along with the NASCAR chef John Dix and Andrew DeLay. And Andy.
That is not the grill, buddy.
Oh.
Dude, you got to stop that crap.
Well, I mean, hey, you're the one that did it last week, so payback's a bitch. Payback is a bitch. Just
Oh,
saying.
Lord.
But
No,
with that
once
said-
that green fog gets out of here, let's get on with the NASCAR chef spot. Man.
Well, thankfully for you, I have high-powered fans in here that are keeping the studio free and clear of all the green goo.
They ain't keeping the paint on the wall.
Oh man! But with that said,
I'm glad I'm way over here.
with that said, though, folks, we have got to get over here to the NASCAR chef John Dix for the week. John, rumor has it we've got some more involvement from the Shrimp Pimp this week.
Yes, sir, Wayne. You know, we got a new guy on the show, JR the Shrimp Pimp, and I tell you what, we are so happy and so fortunate to have him on.
Right.
And this week, in celebration of some of the great shrimp that I get from him, and you can get him, guys, at 334-662-2798, or just hit me up at racingtothegrill@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up with the Shrimp Pimp.
And he'll ship it out, right?
Right, he ships. Right, Andy. He ships all over the country, and gets it right off the boat almost every morning down in South Alabama, right by Mobile. And this week we're going to do the Mexican shrimp cocktail.
Ooh, okay.
And it's great, guys. We're going to start with 2 pounds of shrimp, 2 stalks of celery. You want to chop it up. 1 jalapeno. Make sure you seed it and chop it, or if you like it real hot, you can leave the seeds in, but that's your choice. 1 cucumber, peel it and chop it as well. 2 avocados. You want to peel them, pit them, and chop those. 1/2 small onion and 2 handfuls of cilantro as well. Chop all that stuff up. 2 limes and 1 orange juiced. 1 can of tomato juice and tomato sauce. The cans are probably about 11.5 ounces, just a small can. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, some hot sauce to taste, and salt and pepper. Now, guys, this is very simple. In a large bowl, in a large pot, you want to boil the shrimp until it's pink throughout. Then you want to cool your shrimp. You can run cold water over it, put it in ice, whatever it works for you, and then cut it into bite-sized pieces. And in a bowl, you're going to combine the shrimp, the celery, the jalapeno, the cucumber, the avocado, cilantro, and the onion. And in another bowl, you want to combine the lime and orange juice, the tomato sauce and juice, the garlic, the hot sauce, the salt and pepper, and then pour that over the shrimp mixture. Mix it real well and let it chill for about an hour. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I have some friends that accidentally poured a little bit of tequila in there, but we won't go there. And it turned out really good. So hit me up at racingtothegrill@gmail.com, and I can hook you up with JR the Shrimp Pimp and get you some of this good shrimp to make this recipe.
That is awesome, John. That's RACING, racing to the number 2, thegrill@gmail.com. And if you guys want the Shrimp Pimp, get something to write with if you're listening here on WTHU or Radio St. Pete or the Florida Sports Stream, something like that. John, again, what's his phone number?
JR the Shrimp Pimp is area code 334-662-2798. That's 334-662-2798. JR the Shrimp Pimp.
And on top of that, folks, too, don't forget, as soon as we hit, now we talked about this last week, Andy.
That's right.
As soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube or 500 on Rumble, we're going to be giving away 5 pounds of the Shrimp Pimp shrimp.
To one of those folks, the first 500,000 folks, we will randomly pick your name.
Yep.
There you go.
And also, folks that are listening out there, you can go to wingding.tv or Wingding on Roku Fire Stick or even on YouTube. And or you can go to Burning Rubber Radio YouTube page. And there we are, the NASCAR chef's recipe if you didn't get to write it down.
Yep. Make sure you head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio, wingding.tv, search for Burning Rubber Radio. Or you can also go over to our brand new Rumble channel and search for, or on rumble.com and search for Burning Rubber Radio there as well. And you will find where we are hiding out. A lot of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Mexican shrimp cocktail from the NASCAR chef, John Dix. And folks, make sure you take one more good look at it here. We're going to put it up on the TV side of things. And so YouTube, Rumble, Wingding, and anywhere else you get your videos from. Take one last good look there at that recipe for the week and Mexican shrimp cocktails. And God, I'm already hungry just thinking about that. And tequila, actually, as much as I don't drink tequila, it actually sounds like that'd be a great time with a shrimp cocktail. But with that said here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that final foreign fuel of the show. And when we come back, we are going to delve into some final news of the week, including NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series signings, Truck Series results from this past weekend at Daytona. And then, we'll just see what else we've got in store for
Picks of the week.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy is more important than a trophy. That when we help others,
We heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
We can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
It's simple.
help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy.
And hope. And love.
And if one child is still in need,
Then there's still work to do.
because their future
Is our future.
and there's still so much they can teach us.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio. It's producer Wayne along with Andy DeLay and the NASCAR chef John Dix. And boys, hard to believe we're already in that last segment of the show once again already, man. Fastest 60 minutes in motorsports, and
yeah,
still rings true every single week here on the show. And we got a little bit of extra news to be talking about here for this week, so we're just going to kind of rally things off before we get ready to before we get into picks for Atlanta coming up this week. And yes, folks, you heard me say that right. Atlanta is now the second race in the 2024 season. So some really good stuff. But getting into the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here, and I'll tell you what, man, that race was marred with attrition like I have never seen at Daytona before in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 10 cautions overall, Andy, the second most in history for the Truck Series. And Nick Sanchez somehow pulled out an overtime finish and got the win this past weekend at Daytona.
Yeah, and he did it without getting his ass kicked by Matt Crafton.
Yeah, he didn't get his nose dotted this time. So.
Oh my gosh, man, Nick Sanchez. You know who I feel bad for, really bad for in that race? Tony Breidinger.
Yeah.
She raced both in the ARCA race and the truck race and got tore up in both of them while running up front.
Yeah, and she was looking really strong overall in both the truck and the ARCA race, and disappointing opening weekend for Tony Breidinger. Another name that I saw that we need to talk about too, speaking of the ARCA series, is the fact that SVG ran the ARCA race, because we know that he needed that to qualify to run the Xfinity series right after that. Later in the weekend, and not gonna lie, SVG didn't do half bad in a stock car on a super speedway.
Well, just remember, he doesn't know anything about drafting. This is totally alien to him. Yeah, he's a supercar champion out of Australia, but those boys, they aren't on a big round track drafting at 190 miles an hour. So good for him. This guy, I'm telling you, and you heard it right here first, he will contend for a championship within the next 2 years.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that in one in the slightest, really. And but something else that I happened to be reading about when I was looking over news of the week before we come on the air today here, is that with the Truck Series this past weekend, Andy, and the win with Sanchez, this was also Chevrolet's 100th points-paying win in the national ranks.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah. So some good stuff all the way around there for that. And then a little bit of news, speaking of just kind of rapid firing through a few things before we get into picks for the week here. Colby Howard has officially been tapped by Tricon Garage for the truck race coming up this weekend at Atlanta. So they revealed last Wednesday, actually, matter of fact, on Valentine's Day, that 22-year-old Colby Howard will climb behind the wheel of the team's 5th entry for the Craftsman Truck Series race in Atlanta Motor Speedway. And so some good stuff here for Colby Howard. And then Mason Massey, who is a name that we haven't heard of in quite some time, actually. Now this dates all the way back to last Monday, actually. And Mason Massey will pilot Young's Motorsports Craftsman Truck Series number 02 entry for the entirety of the 2024 season. So Mason Massey coming back in to do some things here for the Craftsman Truck Series. And then McAnally Hilgeman Racing announced Zane Smith is coming back to the Truck Series for 4 races as well this year, Andy.
Oh, good. And that's a strong team, too. That's good to see, man. That he's still dabbling in that. Zane is absolutely an excellent wheelman.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He finished good in the 500.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, he did. He did very well for his first ever Daytona 500. And you know what? That's another one we got to talk about too, Andy. Had it not been for the attrition, I feel like I was pretty damn close on calling Josh Berry to win this past Monday at the Daytona 500 because he was strong.
Let's see. It wasn't horseshoes, and it surely wasn't hand grenades. So almost don't mean a thing.
Well, my pick had the pole, and him and Ross had probably the fastest cars. I picked Joey.
Yep. Yeah. Had he not gotten caught up in that big one at the end there with 8 to go, he had a chance.
It always feels good to see Joey Logano get jumped.
Yeah, because you remember, guys, who his new spotter is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I can't say that anymore.
Yep, exactly. And but now, you know what? Another name we got to talk about that it was brought up a little bit during the broadcast. Monday for the Cup Series, folks. If you didn't recognize it, David Reagan was back in the Cup Series.
He made it,
and actually led laps. Yes, on Monday.
Yeah, David Reagan. That's an old school name now. So.
And guys, I want to bring up our old friend Noah Gregson. Noah was the highest finishing Stuart Haas team. He finished 9th.
Yep.
In that car, and Noah's a wheel man. And I tell you what, again, we all ran into him down at the Five Flags last December. Great young man, and I tried to get him back then to give us a little insight, but he wouldn't. He wouldn't say anything. But we all
he knows better than to spill the beans to the chef.
Yeah, he don't want Zippy after him, and I don't blame him. So.
What happened in Bathurst?
So with the Bathurst 12 this past weekend here, Porsche was just on a tear. Matt Campbell brought home a Repco Bathurst 12-hour win for Porsche with now this is one time I'm gonna probably butcher the name. Manthe EMA delivering a victory despite a penalty, and Campbell, who claimed his second Bathurst 12-hour victory, denied Jules Guanan a record 4th straight win after a pace car restart late in the race. And so Campbell, who is from Queensland, so it's a hometown race for him down in Bathurst, who won the Rolex 24 at Daytona 2 weeks prior, raced to victory with Lawrence Vantour and Ayakan Guoven, and again, I'm probably butchering names for once, who claimed their first wins in the race. And now I'm trying to see where the penalty was mentioned here. Let's see. One other thing of note here, though, is that Campbell crossed the finish line 2.63 seconds ahead of second place after 275 laps in the 12-hour race. Now again, think about that for a second, folks. Comparatively speaking to NASCAR, comparatively speaking to everything else, the fact that NASCAR goes out and runs 275 some odd laps, in most cases in 3 hours, these guys are running it over a consecutive course of 12 because it's street courses and road courses versus oval circuits. So that is something to keep in mind there when you go back and make that comparison here.
And to finish that close.
Yes,
yeah,
finish that close. That's right.
Exactly. And big news there for Bathurst 12, and seeing a chance at a four-peat denied this past weekend for everybody involved there. But the big news that we wanted to touch on too here, Andy, is that good old Chip Ganassi has announced a 2-car lineup going to Le Mans in 2024.
Wow. Cool.
Wow.
And
that's a name that you don't hear much of, Chip Ganassi.
You don't hear it much anymore, but the other big thing to note here, too, is that he will be bringing Cadillac with him to the 24 Hours of Le Mans in June, and they'll be running in Cadillac V-Series R hybrids.
Very cool, man. Those caddies are awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
So, some big stuff all the way around there for Chip Ganassi, Bathurst 12, McAnally Hilgeman Racing, Zane Smith, everything we've talked about this week. Big news on the horizon for everybody involved. But with that said here, folks, we've got to get it over to picks for the week. It's Atlanta, another super speedway of sorts, even though it's only a 1.5 mile track. But with the banking, of course, it makes it a super speedway by all accounts.
It sure is.
And so, you know what? I I don't know how I feel about it, but Andy, I'm gonna give you pick number 1.
All right. There's somebody that is PO'd right now. His name's Ross Chastain. He's going to come back and he's going to wreck them or checkers on Atlanta. So Ross Chastain, boys.
All right. So Andy DeLay has Ross Chastain here. NASCAR chef John Dix. Who are you thinking, brother?
Well, I'm picking a guy who has run good there the last couple times. And Andy talked about his dad earlier. I'm picking Corey LaJoie.
That's a good pick in Atlanta.
You know what? I'm going to second that pick. I'm gonna double up, and I'm going to say Corey LaJoie gets it done this weekend coming up at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Because Corey, I'll tell you what, Corey has been denied wins there many times. Like look at that 1 second place finish that he had a couple of years ago, and the fact that Spire Motorsports has only gotten stronger year over year over year at this point, especially with the Gen 7 car. I would not be surprised if we see Corey LaJoie finally get to step into victory circle on
That's
Sunday
not a bad pick.
So
that's who I'm going with. You know, a couple years ago, the Georgia boy ran him into the wall on the last lap. But we won't go there, so.
Yep, good old Chase Elliott, right? No, we won't talk about his temper anymore.
True, you know that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but with that said here, folks, we have got to get out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio. And for everybody involved in the show, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay, I'm producer Wayne, and until next week, we love you guys. Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber, baby!
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of White Lightning Entertainment with studios in Statesville, North Carolina, and was brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching, it's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. This week's show was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio can be seen on Rumble, YouTube, or wingding.tv and heard on radio stations nationwide. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be the express written permission of White Lightning Entertainment.